Hey, what's up? Coach Kyle here, and recently I went through a few trustworthy sources that had some information, some suggestions on potentially common vegan deficiencies. And in this video, I'm going to go through those deficiencies and tackle which whole foods might be best to help you get those nutrients into your diet. The reason that you want to get the nutrients in through whole foods first or primarily is because, according to a Harvard Health letter from a Dr. Howard Sesso, an epidemiologist at Harvard-affiliated Brigham and Women's Hospital, he said, the reason that you want to get these nutrients in from food first is because vitamins and minerals are most potent when they come from whole food plant-based sources. In these sources, they're accompanied by other good nutrients, carotenoids, flavonoids, minerals, antioxidants, and then these aren't always in most supplements. Plus, food often tastes better and it might be cheaper. So what I did was I made a list of foods that are generally higher in these commonly deficient nutrients, and I wanted to share those with you with exactly what to include in your diet to cover your bases. And after we go through this list, I'll give you some real meal examples and talk about ways to actually eat this stuff. So starting with B12 and iodine, because according to an interesting article I came across that needs to be opened in incognito because it requires an account and I don't have time for that, it suggests that after an analysis of vegan diets, the German Federal Institute of Risk Management, which sounds like a really cool place to work, found no widespread deficiencies in calcium, zinc, selenium, or iron among the 60 sample vegan Berliners. When it comes to the deficiencies, the article and analysis suggests that, quote, compared to a mixed food diet, people who follow a purely plant-based diet do not have a ubiquitous deficiency when it comes to important vitamins and minerals, with the exception of B12 for vegans and iodine, the latter which can be a common omnivore deficiency at the same time. With B12, which is honestly not super totally easy to get from whole vegan foods, but fortified cereal, fortified nut juice, straight up supplements are easy and effective sources. Iodine can be tricky because if you're conscious of your salt intake and keeping it low, you might not be getting enough iodine in from iodinized salt. According to healthline.com, just half a teaspoon of iodized salt daily can meet the daily iodine requirement. However, in my case, Salt is not only a great movie that I've probably watched 3 times, but it's my absolute favorite seasoning. I was gonna say a salt joke here, but nah, that would be sodium funny though. Next up we have vitamin D3, which again isn't super easy to get from food. However, mushrooms, lichen, and no, not the werewolves from Underworld 3, Rise of the Lycans, but that weird fuzzy stuff you see growing on trees, is a common supplement or a source of D3 from supplements. Next up we have calcium, which can be fortified in foods but is also heavily found in green vegetables. Iron can also be found in a variety of food. Omega-3 and zinc is also heavily found in nuts, seeds like pepitas, beans, chickpeas, walnuts, good stuff like that. And to go a step deeper in the what food should we eat to cover our bases journey, I wanted to plug in some food that I often eat to show you what some of these whole food options are to kind of round out my nutrient intake. Breakfast is often some form of cashew and almond nut juice with added pea protein from silk, which with some mixed berries, and I really like kamut puffs, and I even sprinkle some date powder on top. Lunch on this day was some white rice with a 300 calorie meal, microwavable meal packet. Dinner was a super tasty vegan Salisbury steak recipe I cooked up recently. That was one of the best meals of the month, and I often snack on some nuts and fruit during the day, so I added those in as well, and it came out to about 2,000 calories, and that's probably less than I eat on a typical day. You'll notice that in general, my nutrient intake without Hippo-7 was still pretty good. So there I circled the nutrients included in the supplement. But this screenshot here does not have that included in Chronometer. Now, with the Hippo7 vegan multivitamin, it did, of course, take everything up a notch to full vegan Super Saiyan status. While many are at or above the RDA, or the recommended daily allowances, with or without the supplement, it's interesting to note that, and to quote Dr. T. Colin Campbell of the China study fame, he said, the underlying assumption is that if you consume exactly the RDA level for a specific nutrient, there's a very high, like 97% chance probability that you will exceed your actual minimum requirement. So in other words, to play it safe, the RDA represents a substantially higher intake than what you actually need. In fact, the average healthy adult would be a-okay getting just the EAR, or the estimated average requirement of vitamins and minerals daily. And those are around 20 to 30% lower than those RDAs you see on the food labels. But even if you can't get those, take a chill pill instead of taking a supplement, because the fat-soluble ones are storable and the water-soluble ones are often really easy to get via food. And if you need some help with what food to eat, meals to prepare, I send out an email every Thursday. It's totally free, and it includes a variety of easy to prepare and healthy vegan meals. And you can sign up at the link below in the description of this video. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you want to watch that previous video where I go through a few studies and resources on these potential vegan deficiencies, you can check that out right here.